Republican National Convention was this week, which I like to call VomitCon. You might think that's a joke, but actually Popular Science is reporting there was an outbreak of something at the RNC, causing 3 very miserable days of violent bowel movements. That's right. The RNC is literally causing explosive diarrhea and vomiting. Finally, there is a scientific understanding of the side effects of republicanism. But I'll get back to the RNC in a minute. We start tonight with a much bigger story. The 28 pages. The much talked about 28 redacted pages of the 2004 9/11 Commission report. It took 12 years to get our government to reveal this. And the first bombshell we learned in the documents is it's actually 29 pages! Are you kidding me? The infamous 28 pages is 29 pages? How were they able to get that past us all these years? I feel like I just found out my dad is actually my mom. Right? But I bet you didn't know this. If you change those 29 pages to 68-point font and put it in wingdings, it is 900 pages of incredible classified information. Which brings up another question. What is a wingding? Is there a remote tribe in the Amazon that only communicates in wingdings? Anyway, you knew there must be something juicy in these pages because A, they were kept secret for well over a decade, and B, the information was dumped right as Congress was leaving for a 2-month recess. There were multiple terror attacks grabbing the headlines. The Republicans were about to start their national white supremacy rally. And Pokemon Go had just come out. In fact, it's my theory that the administration has been waiting for 12 years to time the release for the exact moment that Pokemon Go came out. But what's inside the documents, right? Come here, you redacted pages. Let me get a Pikachu. Oh, come on! How amazing was that? I am the best comedian to ever live. Let me get a Pikachu? Are you kidding me? That's it, show's over. I'd like to thank the Academy. Okay, so the 29 pages say the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia provided operational and financial support to the 9/11 hijackers. Now, here's the thing. That alone is crazy. That is grab your ankles and poop your pants bananas. All right? That alone means I am throwing away my Iron Sheik wrestling figure. All right? He's technically Iranian, but most Americans don't know the difference, so it's fine. It's fine. And it gets much worse than just Saudi Arabia's involvement because you have to take into account what was going on in our country from 2002 to 2004. George W. Bush was leading us into a massive war in Iraq, a war that would ultimately kill 1 million people, mostly innocent civilians, as well as thousands of U.S. soldiers. Well, okay. Dick Cheney was leading us into a war in Iraq while George W. Bush did what he was asked each day in order to score the pudding cup they promised him. Same idea. At that time, a lot of Americans thought Iraq had something to do with 9/11, and that's why we needed to go Hulk Hogan on their Iron Sheik. So the Bush administration covered up the connection between their buddies, Saudi Arabia, and the 9/11 hijackers. As the Huffington Post put it, President Bush wanted to go to war in Iraq, not Saudi Arabia. So 29 full pages that said Saudi and Bandar instead of Hussein and Iraq was a huge problem for President Bush. Do you understand how crazy this is? This is like if a Colombian guy killed your family, but you were friends with his brother, so you told everybody, I'm going to avenge my family by killing people in Spain. Because I don't believe in nationality, I go by facial hair. And they have similar mustaches. But wait, we invaded Iraq in 2003. The 9/11 Commission report didn't come out until 2004. But They already knew the truth long before the report. A CIA memorandum dated July 2nd, 2002, stated unequivocally that the connections found between the hijackers, the Saudi embassy in Washington, and the Saudi consulate in Los Angeles are incontrovertible evidence that there is support for these terrorists within the Saudi government. That was in 2002. And on top of that, there was a concerted effort by the FBI and the Bush administration to keep incriminating Saudi evidence out of the 9/11 Commission's investigation. The Bush administration had proof that Saudi Arabia was connected to 9/11. They then covered that up, made people think Iraq was involved, and then faked pre-war evidence of weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. Remember the mobile weapons labs that Saddam supposedly had? Look at that ridiculous shit! Bush and Colin Powell were busy drawing Decepticons and Transformers on bar napkins to try to prove that Iraq was going to bomb. Let's see, the truck's cup holder is actually a grappling hook, and it can pull it up the side of buildings so that Hans Blix and the UN can't inspect them. So while they were doing that shit, we literally had proof Saudi Arabia was involved in 9/11. If lying us into war on that level, where millions die, is not a war crime, I don't know what is. So while this incredible information came out last week, was the mainstream media talking about it? Were they up in arms? Nope. Not a peep. And it's not only me saying the mainstream media sucks. There are others, like the hot dog vendor around the corner. Talk to him about it. He gets it. He gets it. And oh yeah, there's also a few presidential candidates.
Hey Lee, Dr. Jill Stein here. You know, we don't need those friggin' corporations and all that corporate media. I got a name for them. I don't call them the press. I call them the O-Press. We got what we need right here on Redacted tonight.
Okay, O-Press, little funny. I mean, it's no Pikachu, but it's all right. Coming to you from Washington, D.C., the belly of the beast. This is Redacted tonight. I'm your host, Lee Camp. Now let's take the news from behind. So, the Republican National Convention, let's get back to that. I'm sure you've seen Donald Trump's speech dissected endlessly, and you know Melania Trump talked about her life experience of growing up as a black woman in Chicago. So, you already know that stuff. I thought I'd talk about the speeches that got a little bit less coverage. First up, Rudy Mad Dog Giuliani.
What happened? What happened to there's no black America, there's no white America, there is just America! What happened to it?
Okay, first of all, terrifying. America! Do you have any idea how much destruction has happened around the world because of America? On the other hand, America has done many great things and been home to many wonderful people. But America fucks everything up! If only we could be so much more America and a lot less America! That would be really great.
He's been a great father, father-in-law, grandfather, and friend to me, my wife Judith, and my family for now almost 30 years. I know him personally.
Yeah, you definitely do know him personally.
You know, you're really beautiful. And a woman that looks like that has to have her own special scent.
Oh, thank you. Maybe you could tell me what you think of this scent.
I like that.
Oh, you dirty boy! You. Oh.
Now we have to scrub our eyes with Brillo pads. Thanks, Rudy.
Every time New York suffered a tragedy, Donald Trump was there to help. He's not going to like my telling you this, but he did it anonymously. When police officers were shot, when firefighters were hurt, when people were in trouble, he came forward and he helped and he asked not to be mentioned.
Right. Yeah, Donald Trump is a top secret Mother Teresa. In front of the cameras, he's a megalomaniacal, misogynistic monster. But off camera, he's Oscar fucking Schindler. Yeah, picking up his gold-plated ball sack scrubber and going, This could have saved 15 more Jews. Or my diamond-encrusted nipple clamps. They could have saved 10 Mexican immigrants from working for me. Yeah, right. All right, let's switch over to Donald Trump Jr.
For too long, our country has ignored its problems, punting them down the road for future generations to deal with.
Oh, you mean like climate change, which your father thinks is a conspiracy created by Rosie O'Donnell, 99% of scientists, and 100% of the world's surviving snowmen.
He didn't hide out behind some desk in an executive suite. He spent his career with regular Americans. He hung out with the guys on construction sites, pouring sheetrock and pouring concrete and hanging sheetrock.
Yeah, something tells me Donald Trump knows as much about pouring sheetrock as you do.
I know he values those workers and those qualities in people, because those are the individuals he had my siblings and me work under when we started out. That he would trust his own children's formative years to these men and women says all you need to know about Donald Trump.
Oh, how relatable. The fact that he handed the raising of his kids over to other people says all you need to know about Donald Trump. What a down-to-earth guy. Listen, he was too busy pouring sheetrock to give a fuck about his kids. All right? He's out there hanging the cement, pouring the sheetrock. Then Donald Jr. had some choice words for the current government.
It's composed of the self-satisfied people at the top, our new aristocrats. We can't live that way any longer.
And that's why you should elect my billionaire daddy. He's not just self-satisfied, all right? Self-satisfied is too tepid a term for Donald Trump. He's self-orgasmic. His cleaning staff has to hose down his mirror twice a day to get the Trump stains off it.
A president who won't use the highest office in the land as a path to personal enrichment.
What?
Trump steaks. Where are the steaks? Do we have steaks? Right. We have Trump steaks. He said, the steak company. And we have Trump steaks. We're very proud of it. We make the finest wine, as good a wine as you can get anywhere in the world. And I know the press is extremely honest, so I won't offer them any, but if they want, they can take a bottle of wine home.
He's the first man to turn a presidential run into an infomercial. The sham wow presidency. But at the end of the day, none of this matters. It's just bells and dog whistles. It's nonsense at a non-event designed to cover up what's really going on in this country. It's nothing but the grand spectacle of a declining empire that continues to put billionaires before everybody else. And while I do enjoy making fun of it now and again, truthfully, what we should all do is close our eyes to it. Shut it out until Donald Trump means as little to you as you do to him. We have to go to a quick break, but don't forget, Redacted Tonight is twice a week now. Our interview show airs every Thursday and can be found at youtube.com/Redacted Tonight. We'll be right back.
Namaste, Bernie Sanders supporters. Troy here again with another guided meditation for rage. As we all know, our beloved Democratic Socialist Silver Fox endorsed corporatist Hillary Clinton. And it was a deep-throated endorsement, wasn't it? It was a painful, downward-facing dog endorsement, wasn't it? And even though Bernie always said he would support Hillary, it still feels like a personal attack because Hillary sucks. But guess what? All you have to do is turn your burn, man! We all know this needs to be a revolution of millions. Bernie Sanders massively popularized the progressive agenda, but ultimately he decided to continue fighting inside the corrupt two-party system. Good luck with all that. But regardless of his decision, you still get to turn your burn wherever you want. Turn it to direct action, to protest, to supporting congressional and state candidates. Consider running for your city council. Just don't consider this movement over by any stretch of the imagination, because it's not. It's just getting started. So now's the time to make involvement in local politics sexier than a mixed-race firefighter with a PhD in 18th century matriarchal French poetry. Namaste.
We turn now to the CIA, our favorite agency that fights international crime with more crime. Have an illegal drug problem in your country? Well, now you have a civil war. You're welcome. Well, now the rogue agency is trying to change its image. Documents were released last week that outline a CIA recruiting program aimed at women. Here to explain is our resident woman, Naomi Caravani. Hello, resident woman. How you doing?
I'm good.
So, why don't women want to work for the CIA? Is it because they assume it's filled with aloof white dudes?
Lee, the CIA is not like Mad Men. I mean, there is just as much sexual harassment, but there are way more orchestrated military coups.
So they're trying to change that?
Oh, no, not the coup thing. The CIA is committed to bringing women into their higher ranks. Here are some real CIA guidelines from 2012 to find some top-notch Nancy Drews. The target has some familiarity with the CIA. The target used the internet when searching for employment. See? Women use computers.
In that document, targets are women? Aren't targets enemies to kill? Not...
No, Lee, no. Ladies, you can be any kind of target you want to be. A target with a career and a home life. Because who wouldn't want to hear the pitter-patter of little targets running around your house?
Or a target that travels the world torturing and killing people, right?
But she can still get home in time for dinner. The CIA really knows how to attract women. You need to see this poster for language instructors. Without you, we'd be speechless. I love it. It's like a candy heart from your potential employer.
It looks incredibly condescending.
No, it's for women who like to talk. You know women, blah, 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 yappity, yappity, yap, yap.
That was good impersonation. The ads, why don't the ads just say, hey, sweetheart, nice games. You want to play some spy games?
Yes.
Oh, you're down with that. Oh, okay. So why this new push for women?
Well, the CIA blames their lack of diversity of thought and experience for the mistakes of invading Iraq and about 72 other places. But, you know, maybe we wouldn't have had the Bay of Pigs if we had fewer Kermits and more Miss Piggies. You know? Here's another. Diversity is the perfect hedge against groupthink. See? Instead of groupthink, women lead everyone in a group weep after a sad story.
Come on, if women could change the violent culture at the organization...
Whoa, Lee, excuse me? I find that kind of offensive.
What? What'd I do?
Women, less violent, The CIA also claims women don't want to work for them because they would be unable to decline an assignment they didn't agree with, that they're more virtuous or something.
I kind of think women are a little more virtuous.
Lee, in certain circumstances, any woman could be a transnational asshole. I, personally, would totally lead a coup in Central America for 2 rum and cokes and a taco.
You do love your tacos.
I do. And also, everyone knows women are better spies because they pay attention to detail and they don't sleep with informants, unlike male field operatives.
You would absolutely sleep with informants, and probably enemies, and probably the enemy's brother.
But what's his dad look like?
Look, the CIA is this giant, aging, militant bureaucracy, but with these pathetic ads that they sound like they're trying to sell feminist porn or something.
Oh no! Have you seen that category? I am way more turned on by tacos.
Nail the body, everybody! Moving on. We've talked a lot on this show about the energy behind the Bernie Sanders movement and where it goes from here. For yet another perspective on that topic, let's go to our think tank, Carlos Delgado.
Did you guys know that there's people running for offices other than president? There's senators, congressmen, representatives, council members, governors, mayors, shit, even comptrollers. And I don't even know what they do. Did you also know that there are Bernie-crats running for all of these offices in November? That's right. Bernie has spread the fruit of his loins across the country. Aw, time to learn something. Here we go. All right. Being a Bernie-crat isn't about your political party affiliation. It's about how you choose to tackle the issues. Any candidate who publicly endorses Bernie via Twitter, Facebook, or tattoo and supports his platform qualifies to be officially listed as a Bernie-crat. What list, you quietly wondered to yourself as you watched this from your cubicle with another tab open showing Amazon ratings for the top vaporizer dildo combos? I'm talking about this list. Berniecrats.net is a website that provides a semi-complete listing of individuals who endorse Bernie Sanders and are active candidates for a public office. If you don't have time to scroll through this list, Papa Bear here went ahead and did the hard work for you. The following 3 people are the most thoroughly progressive and most passionate Berniecrats running for federal office in 2016. Yes, 2016. Because there are other people running for office. Why can you not get this? This is not the Trump show! Jesus Christ! These candidates have elections upcoming in November, and all have a chance to win. They're the cream of the crop, the whip of the cream, the bowl of the whip. And as the saying goes, the cream always rises up the bowl? No, that's gross. All right, let's just start with this person. Here we go. Number 1. Tulsi Gabbard. In order to support Bernie Sanders in his bid for president, she resigned as vice chair of the DNC. It was a full display of her unique courage, integrity, and dedication. But that's Hawaii. Who knows what the hell's going on over there? I guess she went from volcano to volcano campaigning to every ancient lava-dwelling iguana sprite. She's running in Hawaii's 2nd congressional district election. Next up, Keith Ellison is America's first Muslim member of Congress. He was actually sworn in on Thomas Jefferson's Quran. Yes, Thomas Jefferson owned a Quran, even though he probably got it by bludgeoning a Moor to death. But still, it shows how progressive he was. Kinda. Keith Ellison is running in Minnesota's 5th congressional district election. Peter Welch was the only representative from Vermont to endorse Sanders, despite the majority of Vermont voting for Sanders in the primary. When challenged to bend to the will of the Democratic Party narrative, Peter Welch defiantly said, "I refuse to read your narrative. In fact, I can't read." That's not true, but he does seem awesome. He's running in Vermont's at-large congressional district election. These are the type of people who could help Senator Bernie Sanders further the progressive agenda, and they could use your help to win. And should the day ever come for the creation of a major progressive party, then much of the leadership will come from these Berniecrats. Because it's not just about the White House. There are other offices that are...
Reporting from Washington, Carlos Salgado, redacted tonight.
Here are your headlines from the future. You might have heard that Ted Cruz refused to endorse Donald Trump during his speech at the RNC. Next week, you'll learn this. While watching Ted Cruz' speech on TV, Bernie Sanders heard muttering, "You're allowed to do that?" Cannot endorse? On Tuesday, Donald Trump Jr. seen fondly daydreaming about the fiery lake of Armageddon he'll inherit if his father wins presidency. And this Thursday, Philadelphia police keep vegan DNC protesters at bay with new meat cannons. That's our show, but we have live stand-up comedy shows coming up in Chicago, Philadelphia, Baltimore, Washington, D.C., and Asheville, North Carolina. For tickets, email redacted tonight at rtamerica.tv. Also, text the word redacted to 444-999 for exclusive content and more. It's free. Good night, and keep fighting!